I will. I'll put you in the credits.
Off.
Yeah, I think we're good on lights.
Is it good?
Yeah, we're good. All right, I'm gonna hang. All right, this is good. Cool. So, how do you guys? Well, let's just go through.
Hello, I'm Shay Carl. I'm a producer on this movie, and I'm also in it.
Hi, I'm Charles Trippy, and I'm in it.
Win it.
That's actually my fiance, Allie Wesenberg.
She's editing today's vlog.
She's editing over there.
Sorry, I'm not listening. I apologize.
So I can do this and talk with you guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm Colette Butler. I'm Shay's wife, and I'm also in the movie.
I'm Mikey Murphy. I am in it also.
I'm Matthew Tessa. I directed it, and I'm just raiding the little buffet over here.
It's a nice assortment of fruit.
Security!
So how are you guys doing? How's your trip to New York been so far?
Great.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Fun. It's beautiful. The sunset last night took my breath away.
Did you say it was cold?
It's
warm.
chilly.
Florida.
It's
All
Florida.
right, there you go.
I'm from Florida.
I was gonna say, God, I'm sweating. Yeah, it was fun. Have you a lot of people recognizing you throughout the city, and it's been crazy?
Yeah, no, we did get just randomly a girl yesterday. I was looking for a tie to wear into the red carpet, and we're walking this way, and she's on her phone talking, and she's like talking, and she's walking, and she's like didn't miss a beat in her phone conversation. She's like talking to her friend, and all of a sudden she's like, Shay and Colette, and she's like, I haven't watched your guys' videos in a year and a half, but I love your videos. And then I gave her crap for not watching her videos for a year and a half.
That's my favorite thing to do because they all get older.
Yeah, I'm like, what did you get? You're too old and cool now.
But in college, I'm trying to do real world. And it's like,
yeah, there's a lot of viewers last
back
night at the premiere. It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get recognized when we're out in public. More so when we have our whole family together.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense. But it's funny because, like you said, they all get bigger, like the kids and stuff. So to see them grow up on video.
I mean, we were saying, because he's been doing this for like 10 years, like we get people be like, I started watching you in 6th grade, and now I'm about to graduate college.
yeah, there's two girls that started watching when they were, was it 11 or 10, and now they're 21, they're in college and stuff like that. It was one of those things where it's like, I feel old.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really kind of cool because thinking about, like, you know, all those years, the awkward years, they were like watching those videos, you know, they're very
You were there with
developmental years, I think, too,
Yeah.
like middle school, high school, and all that. I think it's really interesting.
Well, it's also because your kids have grown up on these videos as well, so you have this sort of daily documentary of their growth, which must be absolutely, is it bizarre in a way to see that?
I mean, it's not for us because it is our life. It's what we've been doing, you know, for so long. I think time will tell, right? Like, 2 of our kids are like the real life Truman baby. You know, 2 of our kids were born on, and it's not as invasive, you know, as you would think it is. Like Charles was saying last night, you know, our videos are 15 minutes long out of a 24-hour day. I think a lot of people have this misconception that we have cameras out all the time, which is not true.
Like Big Brother.
Yeah. You know, if I had a 15-minute vlog, that means I probably had 25 minutes of footage, you know, so there's only 10 minutes that we cut out. So yeah, it's not as invasive, but we find our kids watching our videos all the time. Like, I'll come, you know, in the morning when I wake up, and Emmy, our youngest daughter, will be watching a video from 5 years ago when she was a kid, and she doesn't remember those experiences. So she's like almost witnessing them for the first time. So it's
life again.
Yeah, it's a cool journey.
Yeah, aren't they at home right now editing the video and uploading it for you guys?
Yeah, my child labor's my favorite labor.
It keeps the cost down. Well, it is crazy to think that, like, the whole world is gonna, in a cool way, but the whole world's gonna, like, know their childhood or watch them grow up. So imagine going to college in, like, them, like, 10 years. Like, everyone will know about them.
Gavin the other day, he was at school. He's a 6th grader. He's in middle school, and so he has different classes. He went to his 3rd hour class, which is like around like 11 in the morning, and I had just uploaded that day's video. And my son walked into class, and this kid was at his desk watching our video on his phone. And my son walks up and he's like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "You." So it is a weird dynamic where, yeah, like Gavin, you know, has fans at his school. Like the first day of 6th grade, you know, the 8th grade cheerleaders wanted a selfie with him. So that was a pretty good confidence boost.
Nice.
You know, when the old cheerleading girls want their picture.
I wouldn't say no to that.
I didn't either. So
It was cool too.
High
like,
fives all around.
From the standpoint of making the movie, you know, because we wanted to tell the personal stories of the vloggers. there's this tremendous archive of their lives. It just exists online. So all we had to do was go to YouTube and find the vlogs that they had made to get these amazing life moments that I think, you know, make them such great sympathetic characters in the film, and really shows an audience, like, if you don't watch vlogs and you come and see this movie, you're going to understand the appeal, because you're watching, you know, Shay and Colette when they started, you're watching the unitard video, you're watching, you know, what was in the Home Depot when you're chasing the kids around?
The
Velociraptor scene, which is the kids are so cute and it's so endearing, and it has this sense of nostalgia that kind of washes over you, and I think that's part of the great appeal of these of vlogs to the audience, is that they're following someone's life, the arc of a life over time, and they're investing in that, and it just makes you think about the passage of time and the meaning of moments, you know, in your own life and in these other people's lives, and that's part of the whole appeal. But the fact that, like, they've been, you know, journaling their lives allowed us to draw from that, you know, archive to tell the story of the rise of the platform and the rise of their, you know, individual careers.
You should have seen the clips of when the camera goes off. Shay's a real big jerk. He's the biggest jerk in the world.
Cut. You guys are... I think John Green had a great line in it where he says, you know, you're not going to understand. It does seem weird. It's like, wait, what? They've just filmed their lives? Like, what a stereotypical, boring thing. Like, do you want to come watch old videos of me and my family? Like, no, Grandma, we don't want to watch old family movies. But in a sense, that's what we're doing, and for some reason, it is captivating. We have, you know, 4.2 million subscribers. Our videos have been watched over 2 billion times. So there's something there, and for good or for bad, and it's mostly for good, you know, like there are definitely like negative things, but you know, it's like Colette said in the last interview, we're living out loud on purpose. And in 100 years from now, it'll be great to have those time capsule moments to look back on and see.
I mean, you like Charles especially, you do put hard moments on film. I mean, a few years ago, just to get personal for a second.
I do?
Well, I had heart surgery a few years ago, and I had a Tumblr blog, like, going through it, and I wasn't, like, live video recording everything, but I took a few videos and was writing about it. And
well, though, right?
Yeah, I'm good now, but, you know, like, it reminded me in a way, well, in a lot of what you were doing, and, like, I guess when I was doing the blogs, it made me, like, gave you something to focus on.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like, what your experience was with that.
I think that was exactly, it was like a therapeutic thing. I think I would have gone completely insane, because I have friends who are doctors, and they all told me I needed to go to, like, a therapist and talk and stuff. Like, I was like, oh, fuck this, I got all these other people I'll talk to. So I was actually a lot, I talked to Shay, I talked to Colette all the time too. But having that way of just expressing yourself and just speaking your mind, and just whatever comes to your mind, you just talk to the camera, and it was very therapeutic, and it really helps when you read the comments too, and see people that are like, you know, so and so is going through this too, you know what I mean? Then you're like, okay, we're not all alone. We're all this giant group together of suckage, you know what I mean? So,
right.
So it was all sucks for everybody. So, but it was kind of a nice situation, kind of group thing.
Were there moments where you just felt like such shit and you didn't want to turn it on, but then you felt like obligated to, in a way?
Yep, every day. And I would say every day. And well, not every day, but like there was a lot of times, obviously. I mean, we always talk about, like, think about things. My favorite video that Shay has on you guys have on the Shaytards is towards the beginning of, I don't know if you remember it, the beginning of the Shaytards, and it's just you with your feet hanging over the water, and Shay's just like this, and he's just like going like that. It's all tranquil, and he's like, I don't want to make a video today.
Yep, it was like a 40-second video. This was like day 9 of me like, I'm gonna make a video every day, and it's day 9, and it's like 6 o'clock at night, and I don't have a video, and I'm like, what do I do?
It's my favorite one though.
Yeah,
it's how you feel.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
So I'm like, what could I show that might be like fun? And so I just like had my feet over this little ditch basically outside the radio station I was working at. And then I flipped the camera and said, I don't feel like making a video today, and then just ended the video. People were pissed.
And the funny thing is,
they were mad.
You still made a video.
That was a video.
That's
me not making a video.
Yeah.
How long did it take for all of you to, like, feel like you had broken through and this was worth doing every day? And, like, it went from, like, sort of maybe a little bit of a experiment / like obligation to, like, a...
For me, I quit my job when I was in college in 2007, so partner program. So that's when it started feeling like when I started getting these paychecks and paying my rent, kind of similar to Shay. And I was like, oh wow, this is actually gonna work. And I don't know if I ever got fired or it just stopped going. I still have not like figured that out, like if I got fired or not. But it just stopped going, and
bad news, Charles. You're fired.
they never called me, so they're never like, where are you? So I mean, and I just realized that was the moment I could just keep doing this, and I was having fun with it. So
When did you?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
I didn't do it daily, but
mine was more of like a combination of like my parents and my job, because I had been doing YouTube for like getting a job as like a teenager was like a thing. Like I was 15, 14 when I really started making videos, and like I wasn't making money on YouTube until like year 2.
So how old were you when you got your first check? 16, 17,
Yeah, I was like
16?
16. And I had a job as a lifeguard. And there's a point where like I would come home from lifeguarding and I would have like sun poisoning and heat problems, and like I had bad sunburn everywhere, and I was like feeling terrible, and I'd be like, I have to go make a video now. I'm like, go do that. And I was working 2 jobs basically.
yeah.
And it was more of a combination of like my parents going, yeah, let's take this seriously, and like they started to take it seriously with me, and once they did, I felt like comfortable enough to start taking it seriously myself.
It's cool that they already
yeah.
kind of envisioned that
Yeah.
with you.
And then in addition to that, it was me getting fired from my job.
Good job.
I was lifeguarding.
there's a theme here.
I was lifeguarding at a senior citizen home, and there was a point like no one went in the pool; they just fried outside. So I was like, "There's a nice lady that came up to me. She like ran the place. She wasn't my boss, but she ran the place. She's like, you know what, honey, just go inside and you can use the Wi-Fi and hang out." And I was like, okay, I'll go inside. So I was never doing my job. I was sitting inside watching Orange is the New Black and like hanging out using their Wi-Fi. And one day my boss came to like visit, a surprise visit, and I was inside with my feet up while everyone else was
Well, at
outside.
least somebody didn't drown. That's what I thought the
Yeah.
story was going.
That's what I thought it was going.
Old Miss Jones went for a swim one day, and I was, watching.
I get a lot more than fired.
There's still an investigation.
Yeah, there's like something going on with that. So.
Is there stuff you guys like, especially as parents, but just in general, like that you don't like? It's sort of definitely off limits that like you decided that you will not share with people.
I think as parents. you guys-
Yeah, I mean, it's little things like, like if the kids have just got out of the bath or something, like I'm going to cut any nudity out, which, is innocent enough, when a little baby, but I'm just like, I don't know what weird freaking creepos are watching our videos. And sometimes the kids will say something that's like innocent, but they'll get torn apart in the comments.
Like,
I know,
yeah.
like just something like, that a kid's saying like, well, you can't say that, child. Like, whoa, I'm going to cut that part out of the video.
And I feel like anytime that it could be used like against them later, like if they're crying or throwing a fit, like I don't like to expose them in that way to where they would watch it later and feel like, oh, I kind of wish
I was
that
a
wasn't
brat.
there.
Yeah, we definitely choose to highlight the positive moments.
Mhm.
Like our kids are brats and obnoxious little kids, like
every
any
other
other
kid.
kid could be.
So am I.
Yeah. But we edit those
Kids
parts
being
out. Yeah. But yeah, we're parents first, right?
Right.
So we care about our children before the content,
Right.
obviously. So we, as the person who edits and shoots, I have all the say in that, and that's why we've never really gone the traditional route, because I've never wanted to lose control. And that's what is great about what we do, and YouTube and social media, is that we have 100% control over our content. When and where it's distributed, how it's portrayed, all of that stuff falls under our control. So there's nothing I would trade for that.
Well, you mentioned like the commenters. Do you guys worry? I mean, obviously, you have many people who love you, but do you worry about stuff that people say, or do you like help it? Does it like impact the way you make videos, or?
I think I said in the last interview, I've been doing this for like 11 years, and I don't think there's anything specific somebody could say to me to where I'd be like, wow, that hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's gotten to a point to where like I just don't like seeing it where they say something about my family or somebody else that's new to the videos. It'd be like, like here's, you meet somebody, you're trying to introduce them in your life, which you're trying to, obviously you're introducing them to the vlogs. Be like, hey, this is Mikey, he's my new friend, everyone say hi, and then they'll just rip them apart, and then that's where I kind of get, not to say they rip them apart, but you get what I'm saying. And I find that more offensive, and that scares me more, I think, with the comments. And the fact that they would attack each other are the things that kind of affect me a little bit more. What's that movie? It was Jane Silent Bob Strike Back? Is that the one where
Yeah.
they go?
Yeah.
And
They beat up
punch
all the
every,
commenters.
they go find every internet commenter.
Dude, that's a great technology. If I could reach through the screen
greatest
and just
movie
like
ever.
punch somebody in the face and then come back out of the screen.
Just a little one of those.
Well, just maybe not punch them right in the face, but yeah, like you take your gloves off and you slap them like that, you know.
Nice
Then you
light
can,
slap.
yeah,
This is so much more demeaning.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you
Slap
got,
him on the wrist.
Yeah.
you guys have been doing, like, you've been doing it, Charles, for like 11 years. You guys have been doing it for a while. You have too at this point. Like, do you think there's room for people to start and get big at this point still, or is it?
it's too late. No, way, you can't make it now. Sorry, we took all the
What he
subscribers.
said.
We took all this.
We have all of them.
We don't share.
You know, it's tougher now. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, you can. That's the great thing about YouTube.
I
Is
think
that
Mikey's
anybody
a
can
perfect
do it.
example.
Yeah.
Like he's younger. He's now starting up.
I'm only 3 years in, and like even now, I know people that want to try, and it's that, you know, if you were in the 1920s, you know, like silent film era, there weren't crazy amounts of actors, but now there's thousands and thousands of actors. The market just got bigger, so now it's, you know, in addition to it getting bigger, though, the audience got bigger. So why don't you just like, you know, you can capitalize on so many different things.
Mhm.
Why not?
If you think about being an artist or a creator, somebody who has something, you know, to bring forth in the world, if you could just get 1,000 people that are willing to give you $100 a month, whether it's buying your merch, buying your tickets, supporting you on Patreon, that's $100,000 a year that you can make as an artist. And you don't need to have 1 million subscribers. You need to have 1,000 people who like what
It's
you
all
do.
about dedicated
Yeah.
followers,
So you
dedicated
can,
viewers.
yeah, I mean, you can do this for a living. You might not be, you know, super famous or whatever, but you can actually make a living creating things that you think are cool.
I think that's a
Yeah.
really big misconception about YouTube is that you have to have 30 million subscribers to be, you know, wealthy or make a living. You can have a small amount, and just if you get that dedicated following, like you said, you have a Patreon, and then you have these people that are constantly, they buy your merch, they wear your shirts, and things like that. You're good. It's your job.
I think too, like it says in the movie, we didn't start this for money.
No.
Like the one of the main reasons we all started was to create and to connect and to have a voice somewhere, you know, on this new space. And I think that if you start that way and you put yourself out there in a way that you're proud of and happy about, like you're going to grow.
Yeah, if you start now to try to make money doing this, you're competing with the Walt Disney Corporation. You're competing with major networks. And you're competing with guys that have been doing it for 10 years every single day. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and say, like, here's how you do YouTube. Because it's 10 years of daily, like, on your phone, on the website, just navigating around the site, knowing how to make an annotation, where to go to upload a video. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's just knowledge that we've gained from years of clicking and typing and just being in the space. So
It's severe dedication.
you can still do it, but if I was to start over again today, still retaining all the knowledge that I know about YouTube, but everybody forgot who I was, I think it'd be very tough for me to recreate the amount of success that I had just because we were lucky enough to kind of be ahead of the curve, you know. But
Well, not only that, like you were all in. Like
it's people don't realize, like, oh, I can make a YouTube video.
We're all
Like,
in.
you are working your butt off
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I was up
Live,
till
eat, sleep,
4
breathe.
a.m. editing. and
You have to
still
eat,
not done. She's
sleep,
still
and
doing it.
breathe this. I mean, look, yeah, she's literally editing the video.
because it has
As,
to be.
yeah. So unless you're willing to go all in,
You have to go all in. You have
Yeah.
to sacrifice a lot.
it's a lot. It's more work than you think.
And you took a huge gamble too when
Yeah.
you guys moved to LA.
Well, we had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
right? We were broke, and so I was like, we'll just be more broke. You know, like, what's the big deal? I always told Colette, I said, we need $150 cash. That was about as much money as we would need to fill up the van 2.5 times to get from Los Angeles back to Idaho. And I knew that my parents would let me live with them. So I was like, as long as we have $150 cash, we can escape LA and get back to Idaho and not, like, die. So, yeah, it was a big risk, and, like, let's move the
Plan B.
family and start this
That's
business.
like Plan B. Plan B is good.
Well, I mean, you co-founded Maker, which is a gigantic success. You guys are all big successes. Like, so you must have sort of a plan or idea, like what's next. You know, like if it's not YouTube vloggers, if that space has been saturated, like what is next? Do you think?
It's live. To me, it's live streaming. And it could be whether it's Facebook, Periscope, YouTube will have live streaming. I'm sure YouTube will have a very competitive live streaming that I'll definitely use. But to me, as the internet speeds up, the ability to transcend geographical boundaries and hang out with each other in real time is going to change everything. You know, it's, and with 360 cameras, virtual reality, and just the general overall speeding exponentially of the internet, the next 5 years are going to be science fiction. Like it's gonna be cool.
How are you preparing for it? Are you starting to stream?
I pray a lot.
Watch a lot of Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
See what Marty's,
Do your homework.
whatever Marty's doing.
You know, like in Men in Black, when they go get all the tabloids to get like the information about aliens, and everybody in real society thinks the tabloids are just bullcrap, but that's like the real knowledge of what's going on in space. Like all the sci-fi movies before that were always like, oh, that's bullcrap. Like those are like scripture for what's going to happen in the future. Like, you know, The Matrix, Terminator, all that stuff. Do your homework, people. It's
Robots are coming.
What would it take for you guys to not vlog anymore?
You'd have to cut my wrists.
You would figure out a way. Honey.
It's hard not to. Like it's hard. It's such an addictive thing.
Honey, hold this for me.
I think it would be hard to stop.
It would be nice to have breaks, but I think all of us, I don't think, me specifically, I don't think I'd ever stop.
Right.
I wouldn't feel comfortable not having a camera in my pocket because there's always something cool happening.
It's almost a scary question because sometimes you experience a moment and you're like, if I don't have my camera, it's almost not as good of a moment because I keep like, oh, I want to film this. I'm like, I'm just gonna see this. Like how lame. Like I want to share this. So it's almost like a moment is transcended once you can share it. You know, once you can like encapsulate that feeling for all time and eternity through video. There's something very addicting about that, where it's like you immortalize a moment and you're always able to look back on it, and that's a memory, a sticking point. And I think that's why vlogging is so addicting, is it gives you meaning, it gives you these good memories that you had. And so
yeah, it's interesting because when you don't vlog, like when we're just like, oh, we're just gonna do this for ourselves, you know, like we're just gonna enjoy this moment, then later it's like, why didn't we film that? I wish I could watch it again and like relive it and feel that again. And that to me is like, being able to watch my kids grow up is so amazing. Being able to watch them as little baby Tard.
Just
like,
in the vlog, the movie itself, seeing baby Tard as baby Tard.
It's really amazing.
it's kind of therapy though too, if you think about it, because if you're vlogging every day, in a sense you're living every day twice. You're actually living it, and then whatever you film, you're watching that, and you can't help but to learn to not use speech crutches. Like when you're editing yourself every day and you keep saying these dumb ums and uhs, you start to see that in yourself and you're like, shut up, Shay, quit saying that. And then you kind of change the way that you are. So it's almost therapeutic in the sense that you're learning about yourself as you watch yourself and edit yourself, and then you can kind of like create who you want to be more. So it's almost like you're doing your homework on yourself every night as you're watching and editing these videos.
Yeah, it's interesting that you ask, like, would you ever stop or whatever. I've noticed, like, Charles is still doing it every day, but like for us, we've kind of cut it down. And I notice if we go for a few days without making a video, it's like Shay needs to create.
I get anxious.
He gets anxious and he feels like that need to create the video.
If I go like 3 days without uploading a vlog, I like feel physiologically down. I'm like, I gotta upload a video. Like I feel like I just have this sense of like when a video goes live, I'm like, like it makes my whole day better. If I can get a video up before noon, I'm like, my whole day, I'm like, I'm successful after, like I got a video up today, you know, like there's something about that, I don't know. Do you still have that feeling when a video goes live where it's like?
Well, my videos are just so, like, you know, I make like that vlog style, like sit down vlog. And like every single video to me is like, I finish it as like a masterpiece. The way I edit, the way I put things together, and the way I, like, you know, a lot of my videos I sit down and plan first, and I have a shot list of what I want to do. And once it all comes together, and then I upload it, like I want to watch it again myself. I want to see what I did, and I feel so good about it.
It's funny to think that you plan it, because there's not been one video I've ever planned.
Yeah, right.
It just comes into a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Imports the cluster.
I was watching you in the movie, how you're like planning everything. I was like, he's really going in at it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
And I think it's because from the beginning I was like, I'm a filmmaker, so and I think like from, you know, I was like with him doing like the documentary, and we were talking about like what you guys are doing every day, and I was like, I want to do that, and I did it. but it took me 3 days to do it, just because like I had to be a certain way, and I had to execute it. I had to plan things. I was like, I'm gonna do these things for the next 4 days. I'm gonna shoot all these things, and like that was my vlog. Just because everything has to be like figured out.
Yeah,
so
The vlogs you did were super cinematic, like the,
even
the
that
10 favorite things.
Like,
That must have taken 10 days. To
Yeah,
make.
that was so long.
Beautifully shot. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
No worries.
Thank you.
All right.